are you today? So, basically, some shit went down, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do a quick live if I can to cover this. So basically, a DJ named John Hebert, is how I think his name is said. It's spelled Hebert. Um, and fucking he was apparently hired by the Wharf um to come DJ boat tours at the Wharf in Chalmette, Louisiana, about 10 minutes from the Bywater. Um, he was apparently asked to come DJ. Whenever he showed up, to do so, um, he was denied entry and treated very poorly. Now, what I'm wondering is, based on the description of the post we have available here, whether or not the gig was officially confirmed. But what I also have available are some messages between the owner and the DJ, and we can look at that too. So I think we could consider whether or not, was this confirmed, or was this potential, in my opinion, could possibly be, would it be like related to what would be the issue? If you ask someone, they said yes, they show up and you deny them entry, what would be the reason, right? And there was concern that there could be some possible racism, and we'll talk about that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna roll the intro, roll it all, and we'll get started.
Hi, my name is Lexi, aka Deaf Child. I'm born deaf, hard of hearing. My team was one of the top teams between 2020 and 2024 in New Orleans and Louisiana. I began doing business as Deaf Child in 2013, marketing 2011, and sales 2009. I've earned 50 plus certifications in marketing and sales, and I have my Bachelor of Science from Loyola University, New Orleans, with a music industry studies major and a business administration minor.
Visit my site at noladeafchild.com. Okay, so I first found out about this from the New Orleans Service and Hospitality Industry Group, of course, where Taylor had posted, can't host a sin night and treat the sin like shit. And sin would obviously, if you don't know, stand for, service industry night. So yeah. And someone probably put, right, what the fuck? As soon as I saw it was in Chalmette, I knew better. Um, so yeah. And then on to this original post here. I'm going to refresh this in a second and see if we have any more commentary. On to this original post here from Taylor, we have the commentary, 10 out of 10, would not recommend. My fiance was asked to DJ this event at an extremely low rate for a favor because they didn't have a budget to work with. No one from this company ever reached out with a set plan. John Hebert drove an hour to this venue and was set up, ready to play for 5:30. The owner saw him and said, I can't pay you because you were on time. Now, if you know John, you know this man is early to everything and is never late. He works 20-hour days and still arrives every day on time and ready to throw a party. This guy works day and night with never a complaint. He was never given a time, but was ready to roll at the start of the event. Was it an immediate dismissal because he's black and they didn't know until he walked in? More than likely. John said he was treated with utter disgust by the owner, but we'll be nice and not speculate. Would we ever recommend? Absolutely not. Were they professional from the get-go with never making a plan as a business with a hired worker? Absolutely not. John took off a normal night of work to do these folks a fave, drove a 2-hour round trip for free now to be treated with such disrespect. Share away, my people. So, when I have questions here, I'm absolutely not going to question this man's lived experience on racism. If he feels that was what he experienced, I believe him, and that's the end of it. Um, so, in my regard, it's like, what can we do to support, right? But what I have questions are, and I'm not, and it could be like people who aren't used to negotiating these types of deals for themselves. And I'm not trying to minimize this man's experience because I don't know his experience. He could have way more experience than me in the music industry. I don't know what his experience is. I'm just saying, like, because this is a general ass video for general ass people, um, a lot of people don't do these types of deals for themselves, so they're not used to thinking about what does the wording mean when you're making the deal. So sometimes what I will see is, people will think they have a booking and it's not actually confirmed. The date might be held, for example. Um, and because it wasn't confirmed, only held, somebody else will come get it and confirm it. And then they think it's double booked, but it was actually never technically double booked. It was just like how venues will be if they have such high volume, they kind of care a little bit less about relationships because they just play it like a numbers game and they're like, we don't need to, right? Because there will always be, particularly in New Orleans, there's always going to be another show coming. And I just realized I totally forgot to adjust my fucking volume again. I need to add this to my calendar. Okay, when I update my captions, this part should remind me to add that fucking shit to my goddamn calendar and fix this fucking shit. Fuck, I keep forgetting. So that's me yelling at myself right there because when I go watch this later with the timestamps. Did I say caption instead of timestamps? I don't know. My bad. I've had a long day, but I really wanted to do this live tonight anyway. Okay, so fucking I was wondering like where it says they didn't and where no one's ever reached out with a set plan. This could mean two things, right? It could have meant that the date was confirmed, but no one reached out with what time you were playing for, and that can be pretty common in New Orleans. You're guaranteed you got the show, the show's booked, but there will be a lack of communication until the very last minute about what time you actually go on. That is very common in this city. So I could understand if they felt it was typical of New Orleans leaning towards that way, where like they thought they had it, they thought it was confirmed, and they thought this dude just wasn't planning what time his set should be. I could see that because that's so common in this city. Um, but fucking right here, that does lead me. That's where I went and questioned. I was like, well, wait a minute though, but were the dates confirmed? And in the comment section, we're gonna see the screenshots available to us. I haven't read them yet, and so we can possibly get a little bit more information about that and see from there. But that's what I led to question right there. Um, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, um, and this is just me, of course, reporting on the experiences documented by others. I, of course, myself was not there, so I don't know what happened. Um, Now, the reason I'm inclined to believe uh, the person here would why they feel this way, like even if there was a misunderstanding, well, I'm going to say I could see how they had this lived experience, because even if there was a misunderstanding, there's a difference between intent and impact, right? And how this could be that impact. But so because I see that there were screenshots available here, that's what leads me to kind of feel like, okay, well, they obviously, like, in their head, there are these point A, B to go to C. You know what I mean? Like, there are things that add up here for me, even if I wasn't there to experience it. And so, like, on another, so it's like I can't say, of course, speak to the lived experience of others. So in that regard, I guess I should say this is all allegations, but when it comes to, I'm not trying to dismiss the lived experience of John Hebert. I do want to say I do believe in his lived experience, because this is harmful to your career as a musician to come out and say, this person didn't get pay me and I don't like them. That makes it harder for you to go get work, because when you call out people that are harming you as employers, other people that might hire you are gonna look at you harder before they do. And so, you know what I'm saying? Like, he has nothing to gain from this. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I just feel like it just came from pain, and it came from wanting others to be aware of the situation, in my opinion, based on what I understand. I question if it could be a misunderstanding of, um, regardless of if it was a misunderstanding, for him to feel like he was treated with utter disgust is inappropriate. I wonder if it could have stemmed from an original misunderstanding with a whether or not the gig was actually confirmed. But even if that's true, I still believe he experienced racism with whatever happened at the forefront. I could just see that being the go-to, um, like, defense of a music venue. You know what I'm saying? Um, and so yeah, fucking. But let's read the messages, because let's see, for because it's gonna be hilarious whenever like I read these messages and it's like totally confirmed, and I'm gonna have to be like, oh shit. Like, let's see. But okay, like, onto the comments. So one person was just like, what the fuck, did he leave? um and Taylor said, yeah girl, they had some big men come out of nowhere like he's a danger, the gentle giant. And then Tamara said, that's some bullshit. Nicole said, wow, made a reservation for this place but decided not to go, thank god we didn't. Taylor said, yes ma'am, we noticed you're clear. Taylor said, here's a video they posted an hour ago where you can hear clearly. She says they are about to start in 2 minutes and John is already there. And obviously they weren't even quite ready because they're still laminating things 2 minutes before. This does not have captions. And John says, I'm in the video of them saying that they're just starting in 2 minutes, and all it took was 1 minute after she was making the video for me to have everything set up. Wow. Um, so this doesn't have captions for us, but I have this little like thing right here. I'm gonna turn on my live caption. I'm gonna just like kind of scroll through. Let's see what this.
Service industry night. This is the view that we have right now.
Okay, she's saying it's service industry night. That's the view that they, doesn't it? Looks great.
All right here. We got the boat out for boat rides.
All right, now there's the view that she meant. Oh, okay, so they got a boat. All right.
For whoever would like to come. But when you do come, you're gonna go here, walk up these steps, and come in through these doors right here. And when you open the door, we are sponsored by Happy Dad. And we're about to...
She's telling them they're sponsored by Happy Dad, and that they come to go up the fucking stairs, come to the damn door and shit like.
Start in 2 minutes, so feel free to come.
Right there, she just said we're gonna start in 2 minutes, so feel free to come.
Whenever you would like, we have an open bar, but also whoever comes, you get 3 tickets for a free drink.
I don't know what the fuck she said. Something about drink tickets.
All right. This is Sophia, our ship leader.
I just want to ask if anybody notices anything about the staff, what they all have in common. It's just a question. It's just a question.
Yes, ma'am. We have Olivia right here. Let's go. Here's Amber, our beautiful little check-in member. You're gonna come right here and see her. Miss Sherry is right there. And we have a few people here already, which we're really excited about. This is the bar for whoever would like to come. Here's Ava and Olivia again. We are currently laminating some stuff for y'all to scan whenever you get here. And here's our awesome DJ. Beautiful. We'll see you.
So I'm wondering if that right there, that DJ was John. Now, okay, now I know that there is some discrepancy about how he showed up at 5:30. Typically, when you're a DJ, you typically, I guess unless you're not responsible for, but typically you do sound checks. Typically, when there's a performance, if you're professional, you have the sound come in time to do sound check before the audience. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So typically you would arrive before 5:30 in my opinion, but at like 5 perhaps. You know what I mean? But I could see why, like, if no one told you a time, you just show up at the time on the flyer, because in other cases, like, if there's no time for a sound check or something, like depending on the scenario, um, for example, like for music festivals sometimes or something, um, then you join that bitch and go for it. They're gonna fucking mix it live, thoughts and prayers, my dude. Like, um, so that can be a thing. Like, it can be done. It's not that big of a deal to show up early, but it is typically expected. So but I'm just saying, like, I don't think it should have caused him to lose the deal. I do see why the venue is, not why, but how. I don't agree with why, but I think I understand how enough venues set that as precedent in the music industry to where this venue might use that logic to excuse it. Am I making sense? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm being a bootlicker. Maybe I am but I'm not trying to argue pro the logic of excusing it. I'm just trying to discuss, because that way, if you understand how a venue or someone is going to defend themselves in this type of deal, you better know how to protect yourself, in my opinion, right? Like, and basically the best way to do so, uh, the chance you got, in my opinion, is beforehand, with the terms and conditions set beforehand, and doing, like, now I'm sounding victim blaming. I don't mean that. I don't mean to be victim blaming. Maybe because I don't think he did it. I don't think there's anything he should have done different to have been treated with respect. I'm just also want to discuss, like, ways to defend ourselves, or people in general in the music industry in general, so you don't come to these situations if you can help it. You know what I'm saying? Am I fucked up for that? I don't know. Y'all let me know. Cause I can see how. Cause, like, I don't think that would be an appropriate response if John was talking to me right now. I don't think that would be the correct response. But in terms of considering John's case as a case study in the music industry, that's where I want to go for. But I don't know if it's too soon for that, right? Um, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. So yeah. Um, Taylor then posts with a screenshot here. Here is the manager texting John, asking him what time he's coming because he was never given a time, and him being fine with John being there to set up at 5:15. Apparently, the owner had no knowledge of it. It says, depending on the link, this should be good if I can see if I can borrow two from the club. Hey, this is Jake from the Wharf. What time will you be here? I have to stop to get something wires just in case, but I'm aiming for 5. I had court this afternoon and I'm just getting out. Had no idea it would take that long, but I will for sure be there before start time. I will be pulling up at 5:15. It doesn't take much time for me to set up. I'm crossing over to St. Cloud Bridge right now. But so yeah. So in my opinion, if the manager approved it, then that should be an issue between the manager and the owner. You know what I'm saying? Like the manager has the authority to make these types of decisions on behalf of the business. Then the business needs to honor the deals that they have put together as a business. And if you don't like how your inner operations are going, discuss that with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like there was no reason to treat John poorly if there was an issue between them. Um, so yeah, John posted the same screenshot with the caption saying, "This is the conversation between me and the manager of the event. I communicated all the way until the time of arrival, and not once I was told I couldn't play the event." Okay, so that does lead me to believe that he was confirmed because you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, why are you engaging in this conversation in this way, in my opinion? Um, so yeah, I can eat my words on that shit earlier where I was questioning, well, was he even confirmed? Yeah, it's a fucking literally was, in my opinion. Um, so yeah. And then Gina said, that's horrible. So they did this to him after the fact. And just let him work with no pay? What the hell? Taylor said, girl, no, he left. They tried to pay him as he was leaving because they knew they were wrong. Okay, so they tried to pay him as he was leaving. All right. Being uneducated how to run a business is one thing, but it's another to treat someone with disrespect the second you see them, especially when they're the only colored person in a 10-mile radius. Screams racist way too loud. Yeah, that's Chalmette for you, said Lindsay. Gina said, girl, totally. Um, I thought here they talk about him not getting compensated. I personally would have taken the money. No, they didn't. Okay, that was probably my own um, assumptions and projections. You know what I'm saying? Um, So yeah, and then Alexis Bourne said the event is going on right now. He left. Taylor said yes, ma'am. Alexis says I went to their page to peep out and realized the event is going on now. That is crazy to drive over there and set up and then be told you aren't getting paid. The fuck. Taylor said literally. He said he could feel the disgust just stemming off the owner because he was black. Alexis said that's fucking disgusting. Looks like a whole bunch of kids working there. What'd the manager have to say? Seems like he was on board according to the text. Alexis said, and you're right, definitely racism. If there was some other issue, they should have notified him before he got there. Or right when he got there. Apologize, tell him what's going on, give him some money for his troubles, but to allow him to set up, then come up with some fake excuse, yeah, okay, disgusting. Jovan Hawkins said, terrible business practice. Demand full pay before setup. Sorry this happened though. Taylor said, we were doing some friends a favor, but Jovan said, I know, I'm sorry. I love friends. If they're truly your friends, they will pay full price. If you can't invest in a friend, that's just sad. Sorry, boo. Red doesn't deserve that, especially walking equipment up them fucking stairs. Now, I will say it is pretty common for you to get paid at the end of the show, but because a lot of promoters, you know, the way that they'll be paying you is from the door sales, so you get paid at the end. Um, fucking Jason said need to get these under contract. Lindsay said, oh my god, I just noticed it says service industry night too, shaking my head. Tamara said, girl, can I leave a comment on their live feed? Also, they have music. Did they have a backup DJ, iPhone DJ? Taylor said, maybe it's their phone. Who knows? They're silly. Tamara says, may I share? Taylor said, absolutely. John Hebert said, They had one of the workers playing music via Bluetooth over the speakers before I arrived, so I assumed that's the same playlist that was going on as I left. Tamara said, so messed up. Sarah said, what is wrong with people? Who cares what someone looks like? All I want to know is what kind of talent they can bring. Oren said, get looks all the time. Sucks it happened. Blessings coming, bro, though. What? I don't know what the fuck that means. Tasha said, they are live right now, just saying. John said, yeah, go figure. The guy was heartless, and people kept telling me he's a state trooper. Like, am I supposed to be worried because he didn't conduct business professionally? He wrote me off in this down talking tone while drinking his happy dad. Like, I'm some dirty black man. Brittany said, absolutely disgusting. And let's see if there's any more commentary since we first checked in here. Let's see. It looks like this is all of it. I'm gonna refresh just to see. And then real quick before we end, we'll go check out the social media feed. Okay, it looks like that's the end here. We'll go check out the social media feeds over at Boat Tours at the Wharf. Let's check for any new commentary on this post. Okie dokie. So, on new commentary on the New Orleans service industry post since we first started here, someone said they need better Chalmette. People are agreeing exactly. Someone put like a target. I don't know. And then Nick Brandt put not sure about the details with the contract or plans, but he was definitely there before 5:30. We saw him get out of his car to go set up. Taylor Emmons said there wasn't a contract or any communication at all, to be honest. He showed up to set up for what time the event was scheduled. But thank you for acknowledging that you saw him there before then. He left Kenner at 4 p.m. I hope all he went still had a hard blast. Still had a blast out. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. Still had a blast out. I know all of us workers needed a night. And then someone else said, what is this place? No. Yeah, wow. Okay, fucking, and then Boat Tours at the Wharf. It looks like, they do have, I would say that could understand why people might perceive their primary target audience as potentially white, but it does look like they have some people of the global majority at this party. So yeah, I know that I'm not only mentioning that because there was discussion of potentially only white people being present. I do think there is issue and concern with the fact that there is, to my understanding, I only see white people hired at this venue, and I do question that, but if that could have anything to do with, the altercation here. And I'm just asking questions based on why there could be potential cultural differences to where people don't understand the nuances behind possible discrimination that they could have been perpetuating. Because you know what I'm saying? I know like that I am aware that I am possibly problematic, and I don't want to think about how problematic I am that I'm unaware of, you know what I mean? And so for me, it's like, well, okay, well, who knows, right? So yeah. So that's just that update. It doesn't look like it's a completely packed out night, but it did look like they had a little bit of a party. So yeah, fucking, I definitely question the ethics here. So I had originally discussed this under the context of like he wasn't even paid to perform, I believe is what I said. And I mean, or did he perform? I don't know. I don't think he technically performed at all. He wasn't even paid to show up, I think is what I had said. He did admit in the comments, I forgot where, that they uh, offered money, but they turned it down because of some perceived racism. I don't know what happened in between where he was told to leave or dismissed. Um, and how quick was it dismissed if he had come in and started setting up? He just wasn't finished setting up. Like, so if it was within the first few minutes, like what happened between um where he was asked to leave but then offered money and rejected that I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, he was not compensated, for his time. Um, and okay, and then they also just said that he was the only colored person in a 10-mile radius. Um, I don't, in hindsight, I don't know if it's appropriate to be calling a black man a colored person. I know that perhaps I'm looking at that in an American way, because I do know that, in different countries, because race is social construct, that is a term that is used. I've heard, with respect, it's just an identity that can be used in other places of the world. But from my understanding, in the context of American issues, I've been taught that that is um, not appropriate. And for context, my family is mixed. My father is native descent. My mother is primarily, my mother is white presenting. My father is a brown man. Um, so yeah, fucking. So I have like, I do understand wanting to support, like when people, our loved ones are close to us, and we're in that proximity, wanting to support them. Um, because that's me, like, and fucking it up as we go because that's me. But um yeah, fucking, I don't know. I'm not the person to speak on why colored person is racist in America. I just feel like that term, typically comes from like Jim Crow era type terminology, in my opinion, is what I associate that type of ideology with. In my opinion, I've always been taught to, well, like 5, 10 years ago, I was taught to say like people of color, and in the last 5 years, I've been taught to say people of the global majority. And I still see both of those terms used today. I see more people shifting towards people of the global majority today, um, because of the issues where it still kind of creates this thing where we are othering white people in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. Like othering, um, like creating like this idea as if being white is normal, but if you're not white, you're not normal, or something like that. I don't think that that is appropriate, but that is what was explained to me. Um, so yeah, fucking, um, that's why I don't know. I wouldn't say that term personally. Whenever this person says this right here, um, personally. I don't know how I feel. There's just like even me looking at that. I just looked at that and I was just like, ooh, like if someone called my dad that, I don't know how I'd feel. I don't know how my dad would feel because I've seen my dad. No, my dad might. But anyway, fucking So yeah, that is something. I'm definitely not the person to be speaking on these issues. What the fuck? It's weird when you're mixed descent and you're like white presenting, and it reminds me of like hearing people who are related to deaf people and they see themselves as deaf community, and then I have to explain to the hearing people, yeah, you're part of our deaf community, but you're not deaf, so you're not deaf community yourselves because you have no deaf lived experience. Like with, what I'm saying, you're only part of deaf community in relationship to deaf people. Without deaf people, you're not deaf community, right? And so remembering that, I totally understand like intersectionality doesn't mean that you can compare lived experiences, but I do think because of the intersectionality, like remembering that is how I kind of try to drill it in my head with my own like anti-racism. Like I don't experience that, even if my family does. You know what I mean? Um, if that makes sense, right? But yeah, so I don't know how appropriate it is for me to have any communication or opinions or feelings or thoughts on this conversation in regards to that right there. But
all that to say, this is just, part of me processing, decolonizing. At what part is it appropriate to discuss human rights issues that don't impact you, in terms of discussing where you stand, processing that, discussing the colonizing journey of how to get your mind from point A to point B, versus what point am I over talking people and I need to shut the fuck up, bitch. Hell no. Red flag, you're going Alexander Graham Bell. Am I going Alexander Graham Bell? You know what I'm saying? So that's what the fuck I mean. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've already taught too much. Like, if you just take bits or pieces of these clips out, it doesn't look good for me, right? Fucking, that sounds vapid and self-absorbed. I probably am vapid and self-absorbed and self-censoring here. I apologize. I apologize. I shouldn't be doing that. So yeah, I need to work on that. We're gonna work on ourselves. I'm working on myself. Hope you're working on yourself. I don't know if the people at the Wharf are working on themselves or not. So I hope you reflect on whether or not you feel safe in that type of environment, because you know what I'm saying. Like, if you're a musician and you're building your career on gigs, you don't know if it's going to be a secure gig or not. And if they treat one person this way, they could be treating anybody this way. You know what I mean? And just because they don't treat you this way, if they have a history of treating others this way, do you really want to support a venue that will be perpetuating that, in my opinion? It's just things to consider. Um, and yeah, fucking thinking of how we can decolonize and work on ourselves and just like be fucking better people. Um, is that maybe that's being colonizer y? Like, I mean, I know at one level, like, discrimination bad, and if you perpetuate discrimination, obviously you're being a bad person, right? But on another level, like, when it comes to decolonizing, every fucking body can say some discriminatory shit sometimes. So I don't think just because someone isn't like on a certain level of their decolonizing journey and they don't fucking know better, it means they're a bad person. It doesn't change the impact. Impact's still very bad, right? But I don't know how, like, at what line is it like, okay, it's not about you needing to decolonize, you're just a bad person, right? Where is that line? I guess that's something everybody has to decide for themselves. But for me, it's like something else I've been considering, because I think that ties back into my interpersonal relationships. I've been struggling to maintain relationships with people for that conflict right there. And I guess if you are questioning that at all, maybe you're answering it yourself. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's it. I just answered some shit for myself. Okay. Anyway, fucking yeah. All right, I'm gonna wrap this bitch up now because I feel like I've been talking out my ass, and this is either like a pretty good live stream or a really fucked up one, maybe both. Um, so maybe neither. Maybe it's just terrible. Who knows? But thank you for being here. You are awesome. I appreciate you. Yeah, I hope you have a great night. Thanks for watching. Join the loyalty program at noladeafchild.com/loyalty and check in during live streams to get points for rewards.